How do we get to a place where our eyesight is not balanced? What are the things we do that get us to the place that we don't have optimal eyesight?
Most vision problems, when I say most, the vast majority are in response to stress from our environment and not having the tools or the foundation in place to meet those demands or to respond to that stress appropriately. So to really simplify things, we've got inside and outside muscles of our eyes. The inside muscles control our focusing system. That's making something clear, keeping it clear. That's called our accommodative system. We have outside muscles of our eyes that are responsible for eye pointing. That's our version system. And the outside provides the what, the inside provides the where. And when we put those together, the where and the what should be giving us the same feedback. But when they're not, that's what causes a lot of stress and a lot of unnecessary struggling in life. So eye coordination problems are in about 40% of the population. I think the number's higher, but research has been having that number climb over the years because of screen time. We're not, as humans, meant to be staring at these computers with the brightness and the contrast and the glare and all these crazy little symbols all over the place all day long like we are. The average American spends 7 hours and 4 minutes a day on a screen. That's crazy, and that's an adult. The average 8 to 10-year-old spends 6 hours a day on a screen. Now, we know what that's doing to social, emotional, and cognitive development, but we're now learning what that's doing to vision development, and what's coming in is really, really alarming. But if we were all to do something really simple here and even just squeeze our hands, if you make a fist with both of your hands and you squeeze it as hard as you can for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, everybody who's listening, try doing it. After a few seconds, your hand starts to hurt, right? But if you let go and come back and let go and come back, you could probably do this all day long. When we're looking at screens, those inside muscles, the focusing system is locking in. It's a sphincter muscle. It's actually behind our pupil, so it's circular. When it's on a screen, it's constricted and it's under tension. And tension over time, unless you're trying to lift weight and get buff, is not a good thing. From the visual system, that's what's causing headaches and eye strain and disrupted sleep and light sensitivity and decreased comprehension when we're reading and decreased productivity throughout the day. The list goes on and on and on because we're literally locked in with these screens and not even doing as simple as just taking a break and looking away and coming back. And so I always talk about the 20-20-20 rule, which is at the absolute most every 20 minutes, taking a break for at least 20 seconds and looking something 20 feet away. But it really should be way more often than that. We should be giving ourselves lots of vision breaks and movement breaks and doing yoga in between Zoom calls as well as taking vision breaks. What really emerges when we're under stress for too long, when we're on screens for too long, is these inside and outside muscle systems start to work in opposing fashions. So very often the eyes start focusing at different planes. So you're literally focusing one plane in front, one plane behind, or one eye in front, one eye behind, so that you don't have to focus both at the same distance. It's incredible what our brains can do to adapt when we need to. Or oftentimes we have difficulty converging our eyes and we're aligning our eyes as if the screen's farther back than it is because we can't hold tension in that system for long enough. And we start overshooting or undershooting or losing our place and having to reread, and then our comprehension decreases. And then this vicious cycle just continues because screens are part of every aspect of life. Work, school, shopping, grocery shopping, dating. I mean, even conversing with our neighbors, we're texting them to say, hey, can I borrow an egg? This is becoming a massive problem. That's the case for everybody, but for an adult's visual system that's developed, it's a very different animal than from a child's visual system who is still developing their ability to create these neural networks for the brain to then respond to appropriately. What we're learning is scary, the data is scary, and we're now seeing how it's impacting nearsightedness, mental health, and even just overall compassion and empathy towards others because we're not interacting in interpersonal space with each other.
Bryce, a question. When you talked about the inner muscles and the outer muscles, is that where the 20-20 comes from?
Good question. So 20-20 is a really outdated old measurement that says, what can you see 20 feet away? What size symbol? So somebody who's, let's say, 20-40 means what they can see at 20 feet, a normal person can see at 40 feet, so farther back. Or if we go the other direction, 20-10, that means 20 feet, a normal person has to see at 10 feet. Really what that is the ability to discriminate or to see with the focusing muscles. In the distance, in our natural resting position of our eyes, we shouldn't be focusing our eyes. Yet so often far away blur, or the ability to see the 20-20 letters, is impacted because of a near problem. And the near problem is, let's say, a focusing stamina issue or a focusing flexibility issue. The muscles have a hard time disengaging or maintaining flexibility. In the the eye care world, not including myself, are on a reactive model saying, well, far away is blurry. Let's give you a stronger pair of lenses or glasses to make that clearer. That becomes your new normal. You then adapt to that and need something stronger to maintain that same clarity because we're discounting or ignoring the problem, which is likely the visual system at near. You address the near problem, then the symptom of far away blur stops changing and in many cases even improves. So there's so much that can be done when we know better and can do better, but the vast majority of eye care is basically just saying, how do we adapt to a lens to allow for clarity to be better, which in some cases is needed. But for all of us who are in our 40s or beyond, and Debbie, you've got about 10 years before you there, when our focusing system becomes more rigid and less flexible, we start to notice we have to hold things farther away until our arms aren't long enough, and then we're grabbing reading glasses, right? The equivalent of that is saying, my knee hurts, I'm going to jump in a wheelchair, I'm going to stop using my knee. When up close becomes blurry and you grab over-the-counter readers the first chance you get, you are preventing your brain from using the focusing system, and it becomes lazy and starts to have that be its new normal. So at a minimum, anybody can prolong the need for reading glasses with the right work. Anybody can slow down that from increasing with the right work. And many people can even reverse it with the right type of work. Just like any muscle in our body, if we stop using them, we lose voluntary control. And yet for some reason, people think that's not the case with vision, which just sounds pretty crazy when you learn about it this way.
Yeah, you just educated me. So it's the Band-Aid solution. Just recently, someone said, oh, my shoulder is sore. Do you think I should get another cortisone shot? I'm like, well, those cortisone injections eventually, it might take you out of pain for a little while and get you to move, yet that contributes to bone loss. I always say, go to the number 100 and think about how many more years you have to live, right? And that's a big deal when you think I have 40 more years, 30 more years, whatever it is. These are muscles we're talking about. And the work that you're doing is strengthening what needs strengthened and relaxing what needs to be relaxed to take that tension off. There is such a strong correlation between vision issues, falling, and fractures. People will say, I didn't see the curb. Honestly, Bryce, these women have grandchildren and they have children. So there's a motivation there to also help their grandchildren. If they can nip it in the bud in the way that you're doing, when those little brains haven't yet mapped or wired, they have that opportunity. So what are some of the tools, some of the things that we can and should be doing?
Number one, there's so much more to vision than 20/20 eyesight. When you're going to an eye doctor or a family member is going to the eye doctor, shoot for 20 happy, not necessarily 20/20. Don't just get glasses to get glasses. Anytime you're putting glasses on and you first get them and they don't seem right and the doctor says, oh no, get used to them. Your brain will get used to them because our brains are phenomenal at adapting, but that is a clear warning sign that that's the wrong prescription. I would imagine many of your clients with yoga, they're taking their glasses off at times. I work with a lot of professional athletes. A lot of people will say they are more confident of their sense of self and space and can react and get in flow state more easily when they're not seeing crystal clear HD because it's almost too much and ask them to withdraw a little bit. We all want to seek out 20 happy. We always want to look at all the functional visual skills. So normal eye exam, that 10 minutes at Costco, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're paying for the quality that you're getting. And I know there's a lot of great doctors and great people at Costco, but my normal eye exam is 2 hours. And we're looking at depth perception and tracking and focusing and eye teaming, convergence, and we're looking at it on a screen versus in three-dimensional space because you got to really paint a clear picture to know how somebody is using their eyes as a team and how well their eyes, brain, and body are integrating and processing information efficiently. Vision training or vision therapy, or what we call vision performance training, and they're all a little different, has the opportunity to completely change somebody's life. Whether it is a child who is struggling with learning to read, or someone who's mislabeled as having ADD, ADHD, or dyslexia, because those are temporary endpoints and those are misdiagnoses or often incomplete diagnoses when there's hidden functional vision problems in place causing the same problems. And it's not like it's a blood test that measures for those. If somebody has an eye turn or lazy eye, if somebody's recovering from a head injury, if somebody just has tired eyes and at the end of the day can't think of anything they'd rather do less than pick up a book or go on a screen because their eyes are too tired. I mean, these are all signs that so much can be done to unlock you or your family member's potential through vision.
If you enjoyed this clip from Stronger Bones Lifestyle, be sure to check out the next video or dive into the full podcast episode. Before you go, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.